everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to Season 2 of Royal Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had some recoveries in the clan and also an incident where our royal physician fell off a tree while trying to gather some ingredients for the sick cats. Now, thankfully, she only had some bruises and largely is fine, but this episode looks to be a very peaceful one where the clan is going to be more focused on healing in the Royal Grotto, enjoying the final turn of New Leaf, which is where we are at now. It is Moon 62. Let us presume and see what happens with our story now. So in the Leader's Den, we are still in an age of peace with all of our various alliances. Let's check out events. Inkfeather is no longer bruised, so that incident from falling off the tree thankfully is not going to haunt her. And then Quillrunner's running nose has finally stopped running. Wow, that's a lot of running in that one sentence. Well, that's good to know. So everyone, all of our cats are in very, very good spirits, which is going to make them quite, I think, excited going out on patrols and potentially trying to find some, outsiders. Okay, Medicine Cat Den, let's see what's going on here. Inkfeather recovered from her bruising. Quillrunner was given Juniper as treatment for running nose, and then his running nose stopped running. Let's take a look at relationships. A clanmate accuses King Fernstar of copying one of Flarefreckle's jokes. Magpie mentions that King Fernstar looks good today. Scorchmoss and Ghostfeather actually get along better today. Scorchmoss scolds Inkfeather for not telling anyone about a piece of crow food in the pile. Flailstorm does something that makes Icicle Speck's day a little happier. Icicle Speck caught Frostfade complaining about him behind his back. A clanmate that Flailstorm wanted to get to know better is already friends with Quillrunner. Flailstorm had an ugly rumor about Flarefreckle. Icicle Speck tells Shining Stripe that his pelt is shiny today. Shining Stripe is having a wonderful time discussing recent clan news with Freezekit. An injured butterfly lands in front of Flarefreckle and Magpie. They take turns nurturing it for a few days until it can fly again. Flarefreckle, King Fernstar, and Magpie took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Flarefreckle prevents something from falling on Ghostfeather. Bearpelt can't believe how talented Magpie is. Bearpelt notices one of his friends laughing with Foxclaw. Magpie can think of 100 good things to say about Freezekit. Oh, her sandwich is so sweet. These two are really close to each other. Magpie wants to be closer to Freezekit, so mother-son bonding. Inkfeather doesn't like it when Quillrunner is all talk and no action. Oh! Now this is fascinating because in the last episode, we saw that Quillrunner started to develop a little bit of a crush on Inkfeather, but it seems as though Inkfeather hasn't had a very good impression of Quillrunner. Maybe he is like a bit flirty with her, maybe talks to them, maybe he tells her that he sympathizes with the way that, she is so devoted to King Fernstar, but he doesn't do anything for her in turn, and he wonders why, she sticks around, but then Inkfeather's looking back at him and thinking, but you're exactly the same with Icicle Speck, so why are you all talk and no action? Freezekit respects Inkfeather's opinion despite disagreeing with it. Quillrunner apologizes to Foxclaw, but Foxclaw doesn't know why. Frostfade shares a bit of shelter from the rain with Magpie. Foxclaw sees that Ghostfeather's piece of prey looks tastier and asks if he'd like to swap. He agrees happily, saying that he likes that one better. So some bonding between the brothers over here. Ghostfeather wants to ask a clanmate to eat with him, but they're busy with Shining Stripe. And Freezekit has a big smile whenever Frostfade comes around. So that is all we have for our events and relationships. Let's wrap up here and resume with the cat list. Okay, let's continue with the cat list and see what's going on here. Just a quick reminder on our loyalties. There we go. Now, I did notice a couple things with relationships that I want to point out. The first one was with Icicle Speck, who has actually had a bit of a romance gain for Quillrunner. And I most definitely think this is from the patrol they went on in the last episode, where Quillrunner was kind of taking it very easy and being really cocky, but then he ended up getting like a whole bit of food, like a whole bunch of food, that the other cats helped him hold back to camp. And it was kind of his turn to shine a little bit and get some of Icicle Speck's attention. And I think it worked. I think for sure it worked. So I'm happy for Quill Runner, but yeah, Icicle Spec, maybe because nothing's really happening with Shining Stripe. They kind of hit a wall in their relationship from Shining Stripe's end. So Icicle Spec, maybe he is actually, appreciating Quill Runner. Plus, I feel like for the most part, because he's not even, actually with Icicle Spec, he's not even friends with Quill Runner. So I feel like Icicle Spec used to maybe hang out with Quill Runner because Quill Runner was his mate's former apprentice. So he kind of just used to indulge Quill Runner, but he used to be a little bit flirty, as his charismatic self before he became responsible. Maybe he didn't realize that Quill Runner was taking that differently, and that Quill Runner was, as a loyal cat, was maybe kind of taking his flirtations as something to be seriously pursued. So yeah, because he doesn't even view Quill Runner as a friend, but he's definitely noticing Quill Runner a bit more. That was one thing. The other thing I noticed was with Quill Runner, who has actually also had a romance increase with Icicle Spec, who we know he is absolutely in love with. So it's a one-sided love for sure right now. But yeah, I think that patrol made him feel really, really good about himself. And it was a patrol, I think, with Icicle Spec, Quill Runner, and Quill Runner's brother, Frostfade. I can almost imagine Frostfade kind of hanging back to let Quill Runner shine so that Quill Runner could make the impression he wanted to make. So that was something I noticed. And also, this isn't a change in relationships, but I wanted to point out the fact that, we talked about Inkfeather last time because Quill Runner started to have some feelings for Inkfeather. Now, not Family Tree. Inkfeather, actually, it might be easier to jump to Shining Stripe. So, Fernstar and Inkfeather, you can see Inkfeather is, absolutely in love with Fernstar. She's the most in love with him out of all the cats that we have in the clan. Nobody loves anyone as much as Inkfeather loves Fernstar. And yet, Fernstar doesn't even consider her a friend. And the way I look at friendships is when the cats have a green bar that's not a romance bar, then I consider it to be a friendship. But yes, he's got some romance there, some feelings, but those feelings are from, pairing up with and having kittens. Aside from that, he has never really, I think, fallen in love with her, seen her as a friend. He's always viewed her as someone that was brought in, like a noble that was elevated from position of servant to have his children, and that's it. And that's part of the tragedy, the sadness of, their relationship. And Magpie, she's also an outsider who was brought in, someone from Servant Clan who was elevated to nobility. She definitely doesn't want to be like Inkfeather, kind of blindly loving Flailstorm and not getting anything in return. She would rather kind of fight with him if they're not agreeing on something. She would rather live for herself, and she doesn't even mind kind of indulging some of the other cats and, the attention they give her for that, or indulging herself with attention from other cats. Now, with Flailstorm, in connection with that, I wanted to point out that Flailstorm, he actually he has feelings for two cats right now. That's Scorchmoss, his old flame, and Magpie, who he's mated with. He has, I think 3.5 romance bars for both of them, so he feels the same about both of them right now. So aside from those changes I noticed, we have some hatreds in the clan, and typically when cats have hatred for each other, I consider them enemies. So we have some enemies in the clan that I wanted to point out. So King Fernstar and Flailstorm, they are actually enemies with Flare Freckle. And I'm going to make this very brief because I actually don't remember why they're enemies with Flare Freckle. If you guys remember from Season 1, please feel free to let me know, but that is where it stands. Both Fernstar and Flailstorm hate Flare Freckle. So I feel like she's living a bit of a dangerous life right now. And that's something that's been present from the beginning of Season 2, or I think it's something that we've had from Season 1. It's carried over from Season 1. Now, a new enemy ship that has developed, I'm pretty sure, has been with Bearpelt, who actually hates King Fernstar. So he's become enemies with King Fernstar, and again, I'm not entirely sure why this is the case. All that I know is that Bearpelt is loyal to King Fernstar. He seems to have some mixed feelings, but when I'm looking back at his history of events between the two cats, there's a lot of times when Bearpelt, he doesn't want to go on patrol with King Fernstar. And then I think in the last episode, he wanted to be like Fernstar, almost as though there's like envy there. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with him. But yeah, Bearpelt has become enemies with King Fernstar. Maybe Bearpelt is loyal to, I mean, who knows? Maybe he likes Fernstar as a leader, but personally, in terms of the way that Fernstar, I think cats in the past have had a problem with this as well. The way Fernstar conducts himself privately with his personal relationships, maybe Bearpelt feels as though that's very unfair on some of the other cats. I mean, he's a shameless cat, so you wouldn't think that would bother him. But something about Fernstar is rubbing Bearpelt the wrong way, and he has started viewing Fernstar as an enemy that he's loyal to almost, because that enemy is his leader. So I don't know, if you guys can help me decode that as well, it would be I would be very appreciative. So that's kind of the state of the clan in terms of relationships. Let's go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. King Fernstar is looking around camp. Icicle Speck wishes he had wings so he could catch birds easier. Inkfeather is determined to protect her loved ones, now more so than ever. Shining Stripe saw a kitty pet rolling around a two-leg garden. Flare Freckle is soaking in the new leaf warmth. Bearpelt purrs as a cool breeze hits him. Magpie tries to set a good example for younger cats. Quill Runner wants to compliment Frostfade's fighting techniques. Frostfade wants to compliment Magpie's fighting techniques. Okay. Foxclaw purrs as a cool breeze hits him. Foxclaw is hanging out with Bearpelt, which is fascinating. Ghostfeather sharpens his claws. Scorchmoss is thinking about how awful kitty pet food must taste. Flailstorm is humming a tune he heard near a two-leg place. Freeze Kid is asking Quill Runner an important question. And that's all we have for these cats. Just quickly before we continue with patrols, I should probably show you the hatreds we have going on. So as you can see, Fernstar, he has a hatred of Flare Freckle over here, but again, this is a bit of a complicated relationship. I have an inkling that it's something to do with maybe breeding, but I don't remember. So there is that, and then Flailstorm. He's also got a hatred for Flare Freckle, and again, there's mixed feelings here, so I am not entirely sure why this is the case. I don't remember. And what else? Bearpelt. Bearpelt has a hatred with King Fernstar, and again, mixed feelings. So if you guys can help me decode this, I would appreciate it, but I honestly have no clue what's going on. I feel like I haven't gotten enough story context to work out why this might be the case. Especially because I don't think their love lives intersect. I mean, Fernstar, he's obviously only got a romance with Inkfeather. Inkfeather is involved with Fernstar. Just Fernstar. But Quill Runner has a thing for her. Bearpelt has a thing for, I think, he's got history with Icicle Speck and Shining Stripe is his brother, jeez. Icicle Speck. And there was one other cat who's now passed on, but their love lives don't intersect, so I'm a little bit confused. With Bearpelt, I think it's Ghostfeather as well, right? So right now it's like Icicle Speck and Ghostfeather. So yeah, the love lives don't even intersect, so I'm not actually sure why this might be the case. But okay, let's wrap up with the cat list and resume with our patrols. Okay, we currently have 79.2 prey. We need 34, so we don't have to worry about hunting. We are continuing with our patrols. We're going to send out our Royal Physician Inkfeather first off. Inkfeather uses the blustery new leaf morning to try catch the scent of wild garlic on the breeze. Proceed. The leaves, and especially the bulbs of wild garlic, are the preeminent herb to treat infection, even if using them results each time in either the patient or their loved ones complaining about the smell. Inkfeather, personally, will take a bit of bad smell over illness, thank you very much. Wild garlic was gathered, and we're going to have a patrol of 6, and then a patrol of 3. So first up, We have Frostfade, Magpie, Foxclaw, Quillrunner, Flarefreckle, and Bearpelt heading out, so let's see what they get up to. As the patrol spreads out to hunt, Flarefreckle admits she thinks she had a vision from StarClan last night. Proceed, the patrol talks to her about whether it was a real vision as they hunt. So a medium amount of prey is brought to camp, and now we have 130.2. Okay, that's a lot of food. And finally, we have Icicle, Speck, King Fernstar, and Ghostfeather heading out. So let's have a look. King Fernstar wanders past an old badger set in the roots of a hazelnut tree, only to freeze. There's a new scent here, acrid and sour. Proceed. King Fernstar organizes the patrol, and together they lift a long skinny branch from the forest floor, shoving the end into the set. With half the branch's length to go, there's an outrage explosion of fizzing from the depths of the burrow. The patrol retreats to report back to camp. With any luck, it's been injured, but no one wants to check. Okay, so we found some danger, got away from danger, didn't manage to find any outsiders, unfortunately, but at least everyone is back nice and safe. Yes, I realize we are hoping for outsiders, and we desperately need outsiders. Like, we need a female, not just any outsiders. We have too many males. We need females. We need a female to be able to breed. But at the same time, we do have a kitten in Freeze Kits. And right now, while we're spending time, like if you're wondering why I'm not skipping ahead until we find, a female and can have a breeding pair, I do want to focus on raising Freeze Kit and making sure that we give him plenty of love and attention as he grows up so that, he can be a memorable character as well. We don't want to miss out on Freeze Kit's childhood. We don't want to miss out on his childhood while he's with us, because there's never any guarantee how long a cat is going to live. So yeah, right now we're focused on raising Freeze Kit and making sure that he reaches adulthood really well. And then once he becomes an adult, if by that point, we still haven't found any outsiders, any females for us to breed with, then I'll play off camera until I have a pregnancy notice. And then we can come back and, continue with the plan. But for right now, I'm very focused on this kitten. Okay guys, with that said and done, I am going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.